Maybe.
Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate. Science fiction on a screen so bright. Old classics and the new delights. The unapologetic geek will lead the way with facts and fun to fill your day. Discussing every detail, every frame, from the eerie to the loud and the tame. Gig along with all that's great. Those Sunday vibes you can't debate. Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate.
Hello, welcome to Tug Chat. I'm going to start bringing in my panelists one at a time, but first I just wanted to say hi. We're going to keep talking about good, bad movies, which are just movies that we enjoy, even though we probably know that they're not very good. Maybe they are, but we're just... Anyway, I'm terrible at this, and this is why I don't do solo live streams. I'm going to start by bringing in... Let's see, who can I bring in first? No. I'm hitting buttons wrong. Okay, let's just everybody. I'm bringing in everybody.
Wow!
Greetings from North Carolina and stuff.
Hey, from California, it's on fire. Wow.
Yes, and we're frozen in St. Louis, so maybe we could average it out somehow. You know, it'd be nice,
right? Maybe the center of the country is like nice.
Yeah.
No, it really isn't.
Okay, well, there you go. Sorry.
I said, I'm happy. It's 40 degrees outside, and after last night, 40 degrees feels like summertime.
That's true. Yeah. It's like 36 right now, and I looked and I saw 36, and I said, wow, it's warm.
Yeah, the other night it was like 35, 36 degrees, and it felt like spring because we were down in like 20 degrees the day before. So it was like so
and I'm
much
getting
nicer.
texts from my family down in Florida, like Central Florida, and they're saying it's 36 outside. We're gonna die, you know. It's so cold.
It's 57 degrees outside right now, so it's gonna be a warm day.
This is one of my favorite shows to do because it's the kind of a good stuff show, and I want to have cool stuff in the background.
Absolutely.
So I sit inside where I'm not freezing.
So my show, everybody just says all the words that goes outside and freezes because you can. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he goes outside and freezes and says a lot of bad words because he's freezing. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Now we know damn secret.
I say plenty of bad words because it's going to be freezing.
So I want to say hi to everybody who's here. Let's see. We got Vim Vanderstraten. He's always good to see you, Vim. Just Carowin is here. Hello. Channel member John is here.
That doesn't say John.
I know. It says it's pronounced John. Just look at it. John. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, you're right. I can't read, so it's perfect.
Channel member Indy Spoats is also here.
Good to see you. Where you been, bro?
Yeah. John Collins is here. Awesome.
Johnny.
John?
Oh my God.
Haven't seen you in a
John,
while.
good to see you, my brother.
Not sure I've ever seen you on my channel, to be honest. Let's see. Kenneth Williams is here. Hello, Kenneth.
I've heard of this person.
Christopher. How's it going?
Mile High Community Channel.
Yes, he's awesome.
Friend.
Yeah. It's a great channel. It's really good. First Amendment stuff. Wouldn't believe me.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies from my childhood I remember, even though they were terrible because they had nudity. Yeah.
Well, right on.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Movies, I got to add some stuff to my list.
And Limey is here. Hello, Limey.
I tried to keep my list PG.
Okay, so yeah, we've got Sister Sarah here this week. We've got the great Danny Staten here this week. We've got Thrash here. I did invite Tracy. She's not here. She might show up. She might not. But her glasses are here because that's what Thrash is wearing.
I like these.
I do too.
Mrs. Thrash says I look like a villain in an old Batman TV show.
Nice shirt, Dan.
And yeah, Dan's wearing the merch.
Dan's wearing Thrash's shirt. He went to his closet today. Just,
I've got to get a new one because the one I have actually it's kind of like torn. It's annoying.
I always try to wear a Thrash's shirt, especially if I'm on a show with him, because we co-host the show together every other week where we do the same thing we're doing here pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we're going to continue with good, bad movies. And I'm going to go ahead and let our new guests start. So I'm going to let Sarah start. Sarah can go first.
Ladies first anyway. Right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. So I'd have to say, for me, one of my most favoriteest of movies that is it's awful, but I love it. It is The Room. I love The Room.
About this. Yeah.
I know, right? I love The Room. I've talked to Tony Wiseau myself. It was awesome. I actually kind of admire the guy. I mean, he went out there to have a goal of that awesome movie, and he did it more than I've done. Crazy. And raised all the money himself. So I'm like, I can't be bad about that. And he made The Room. It's got spoons in it. It's a lot of fun.
For some reason. Framed pictures of spoons.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because they just bought it and put it up. But still, it's awesome.
No, and I also appreciate...
I'm confused because I thought the movies were supposed to have some level of enjoyment to them.
No, I enjoy the crap out of that movie. I do.
Wow.
Why?
If you're watching it by yourself, yeah, it's not that fun. But if you watch it with other people,
heavens no! You never watch it by yourself. Don't do that.
You never watch it with other people because they'll get up and leave.
Well, you gotta find the right balance of spiked drinks and that. Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I've sat through parts of that movie. I have never sat through the whole movie. I could not endure it.
Oh, well, it's awesome. You should see the making of the movie that they made, the actual movie about it.
Oh, my God.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
I appreciate Tommy Wiseau for he put all his effort into it. He made this movie. It's beyond terrible. And the initial reaction to it, because everybody said, this is a horrible movie, instead of getting really, really depressed by this, and he initially did get depressed by this, he eventually learned to embrace it, to understand that people were still getting entertainment out of it. So let's just go with it and embrace the silliness of it, embrace the goofy charm to it. And I think he's managed to take it really, really well. I'm not sure I would take it that well. If I produced something that was that bad and everybody reacted badly to it, as they should, I probably wouldn't be happy about it.
But see, I can see where he could change his think on that, because whether what he intended obviously didn't come to fruition, but the fact of it is there are people, myself included, that do like that movie and will defend it. I mean, I know it makes your eyes bleed, but I've seen worse. I've seen Garfield Kids. I can't get over Garfield Kids. I can no longer peppermint schnapps because of that. Garfield Kids is awful. That is of the devil. Now, you see The Room and you go, oh, this is what they mean by good movies, bad movies. I got it. Fun. They also have, you go to the theater, right? And they'll throw spoons like they do for, all that, oh my gosh, Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? It's like they do that. It's awesome. And Tony Wiseau will come to some of those and he'll talk about, his making of The Room. And I happen to just love the fact that he put up that billboard in Hollywood. I don't know if he ever took it down.
Yeah.
But no follow-up.
No. I must confess, I too have not seen the movie. I've seen many clips on YouTube. And one thing I always come back to is when you watch traditional schlock cinema, you can kind of see what they're going for and how they mess the mark. But you actually see, on paper, this probably looked entertaining. With The Room, I'm like, were you just filming in stream of consciousness? I mean,
no, you wrote it down. Hi, Mark.
I'm not sure what the concept even was. And again, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I must limit my responses, but I'm just based on what I have seen. It like I say, it was almost like, was this an experimental film or was this I just don't, was he trying to do like modern direct? I don't know.
It kind of feels like a screenplay written by an angsty teen who just went through a breakup and was feeling depressed. Like if you actually like follow the plot, that's kind of what it feels like. So I think maybe he was dealing with some kind of like internal demons and was trying to express himself like artistically.
It's one of the movies you feel like you're going to see at some independent film festival in a foreign country.
You wish it would be that good. Anyways,
I would rather watch The Room than watch anything by like Bertolt Brecht or the French New Wave or any of that garbage.
I will tell you, in support of you, Sister Sarah, every time you go to one of those sites where it says so bad they're good movies, one of the first ones that come up is The Room. So I'm very glad you
yeah, it's great. I mean, I got the memes for it. I mean, it was really awesome. I mean, the last time I watched the movie, right, I was up on Discord. I was in with a bunch of people. We all watched the movie, right? And, you know, because I just have it on lock, right? I got all the memes. I'm just dropping all the memes for it. I'm predicting everything just perfect. Everybody in there is just like, have you seen this movie before? And I'm like, yeah.
It's one of those movies like Rocky Horror where, like, if you see it with an audience, there's like a script that you have to follow.
Right. They have that. They
throw
have
the spoons.
Yeah, they throw the spoons, all that stuff, right? It's great. I mean, nobody's, you know, I mean, there's footballs being thrown too, I think. But yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, actually, of those kind of good, bad movies. Like
There's no defending that like 10-minute long gross sex scene, though. That's just...
What are you talking about? It was so...
You got me. Sarah, because I love you so much. I'm going to find this movie, and I'm going to sit down and watch it all the way through. What was that you said about sex scene, bud?
There's a 10-minute long sex scene, and you don't want to watch it. It's not.
They call it belly button. They call it belly button sex. Okay, so it's even funnier. But anyways,
a bunch of people in chat just laughed really hard.
No, they just turned red and left. They went, "Oh no, it's one of these shows."
Oh dear.
Or they went to go find it right now and watch it.
John Collins has a question for you, Thrash.
A list of cheesy 80s movies in preparation for tomorrow's live stream, 80s movies. I would be happy to. In fact, John, if I have time, I got some errands I have to run after the show today. I'll try to give you a call. But at the very least, I will prepare a list of movies for you, at the very, very least.
Oh, my God.
Well, let's see. You're going to be on tonight.
Tomorrow, well, tonight I'm going to be on my show. Tomorrow, and I was going to save all this to the end when Tug says, "So, Bob, what do you have coming up?" I have my show tonight at 7:30. But tomorrow I'm going to be on The Good Stuff with the Retro Pals. Myself, Dave, Pat, and Barry, and we're going to be talking about the quintessential 80s movies. Those movies set in the 80s which really define the decade. Where you watch them nowadays, you go, oh my God, that's just what the 80s were like for all these reasons. And it's funny, the 80s really sort of hit, I hate to use the word zeitgeist, I sound so pretentious when I say it, but you know, the 80s really did have a feel for it, and certain movies really, really do nail that. So anyway, that covers what I'm doing until tomorrow.
Well, I'm sure you on your show tonight you could give us kind of a little preview and run us through a couple of movies. A sneak
be happy to.
A sneak peek, so to speak.
A sneak. I shall sneak the peek.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out!
Hello, cowman.
Some places.
I want to say I had a tuber chat. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. He's a Canadian. He also helps people grow their channels and stuff. So good dude.
Oh, excellent. Very cool.
Really?
Hey, I need more people like that.
Soon to be another American.
You mean more people like Canadians or like what?
Well, no, there's a running joke that, well, I'm sure you guys watch the news, so I won't even get into it. But I can't
talk about Canadians unless Damien's here. Because he gives me be racist against Canadians.
But he's a Canadian Florida man, so you know.
Exactly, yeah. And hi, Tracy. If you want to come on the panel, you're more than welcome.
Tracy Bubala.
Yeah.
Oh, and Snarky is here. Hope you're
Snark's
feeling
ass. Snark's ass. How you doing?
Hey, Snarky. Oh, that sounded special needs right there. Sorry about that.
3
Troll too. I've had I'm having a morning.
Having an episode.
I think this one is for you, Dan.
It's on the
Duran Duran.
It's on the list.
Mm.
It's on the list, man.
I showed up with the football team to show that I'm a man.
Bring it up,
I guess I
baby.
should tell them that I like Duran
Time
Duran.
during the show, you know what was going to happen, right?
Yeah, I knew.
Wait, somebody just said Duran Duran. Did I hear that?
We're talking about the band, you know.
Number 5.
Her name is Rio, and she. Yeah.
Yeah,
Number
that's
5 on my list.
There's a song by Bare Naked Ladies, also from Canada, where they do a name drop for Duran Duran.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, The Room is an absolute classic of good bad movies.
It's
I
a
think
gem.
You have
It's
to
a
see it.
gem.
I don't care what Danny says. You have to see it at some
It's a
point in
gem.
your
I
life.
haven't seen it. I can't really judge, except I've seen clips.
I'm expecting a very angry text from him.
15-minute clips.
Any minute will come and go, hey, remember that time you recommended that thing? I was like, I swear I did not. And he'll be like, well, here's my opinion on it. And then I'll get a text full. And then on a Thursday, I'll get an earful. And then for the rest of my life, he'll be like, did you know? But she made me watch.
I had a friend I used to do that to in college. I would like recommend movies I would know he would hate. And he would watch them and then he'd get back to me and he'd be angry. And I'm like, dude, I've done this to you like 5 times. Why do you keep falling for it?
I'm going to give it a chance to watch it, and then I'm going to text Sarah all about it for days.
Gary.
Yeah, text
Yes.
her, not me.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'll let you guys know. I'll post it everywhere. And Dad said this. So no.
And I really don't like that. I really don't like that goofy little whiny guy that plays in it anyway.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's all on The Room. Now it's your
What?
turn.
No,
Dan.
you can never stop talking about the room, but we can move on.
You.
Go ahead. Dan.
Lock the door on the room with the golden key.
The golden key, of course.
Good
If
times.
you want to
Okay.
get this joke, check out last night's Brain Bitters Banner show. You'll love it.
It was a lot of fun.
Shameless plug.
All right. I'm
Shameless
on fire.
Pug?
Shameless plug? No, there's a
Plug.
wall there, yeah.
That's a great name for a channel, the Shameless Pug.
Plug. PL.
Dan, I get it. That was a joke.
I don't need plugs. I don't know what you're talking about.
Plugs? We don't need no stinking plugs.
I need some plugs for my face. I can't grow a beard yet. Sorry. I'm working on it. Swear. Any minute now.
So
Okay,
Dan's just like, all right, Dan. What?
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
And I look down at my list, and the first thing that comes to mind is, God, I'm old. I did. Once I took a look at the list and realized a few things, yeah, I'm kind of old because the movie is so bad. It's awful, but I like it, and it's wonderful, and it's a classic. And that's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It's corny. It's horrible. Some parts are dreadful. But it's Abbott and Costello. It's funny. It's got the classic monsters. And to me, it's like one of the best movies ever made to be so bad. If that makes any sense.
No, it does.
That's
Like
yeah.
when I was growing up and I was watching all the Universal horror movies for the first time, I was so confused that they suddenly became Abbott and Costello movies. And I almost resisted watching them because of that. I'm like, what does Abbott and Costello have to do with Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman? And
Those are questions I asked myself too, and then never went any further than to find out. Because
and then when I watched them, yeah, they're obvious cash grabs for their day. And they're not that well made. Like the sets are kind of falling apart, and it's clear they're kind of just winging it. But at the same time, you're right. I love them. They're endearing. I don't know why.
And
It's
the bad
Abbott and
part is,
Costello.
on my list, I put Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, which is probably the more popular. I didn't put Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Abbott
The
and
Invisible
Costello.
Man. Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man.
Yeah, and the other movies like that, because they're actually really kind of good. But
Well,
Abbott and
But see, I
Costello,
like Abbott and Costello.
has a
As an
certain
adult, I
level-
like them. You know,
it
Abbott
has
and
a
Costello.
certain
You know,
level of corniness to it, a certain level of cheese that makes it even
Yeah.
stand out more than the rest of them.
well, apparently, Lou Costello, when he read the script, hated it.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
thought it was categorically not funny. And I will grant you, the pacing is off. There's some parts that are like very funny. There's some parts where just kind of there's one scene where Lon Chaney has Costello lock him in his room because he's going into like wolf mode, and Lou Costello decides to steal an orange, so he goes back, and then he changes his mind because like maybe he counted them, so he goes and puts it back, and then he goes back, and it's this like ongoing bit where he keeps opening the door after he was promised that he wouldn't, and you're watching like, okay, can we just advance the plot? You know, if this was a vaudeville bit, people would be screaming, "Get on with it!" from the audience. But I thought parts of it actually were very funny and had good timing. The funny thing about the Abbott and Costello movies as a rule, and some of them were very well done, a lot of them, the scripts were just like love triangle movies set in a weird setting that they couldn't sell. So Universal will be like, we'll jackhammer Abbott and Costello into them and market them as an Abbott and Costello movie, and somehow this will work. There are a few movies where Abbott and Costello seem superfluous in their own movie, and it's simply because Universal was they were Universal's sort of go-tos. You know, if this concept won't work, we'll add these two in it. And again, but sometimes I thought that worked very well. And to be honest, Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein is one of my favorites too.
You should do the
It's great.
experiments I do because I have such a incredibly huge family. One of my favorite things to do is the little experiment where I take the grandchildren and the nieces and nephews at Christmas time, and they're like between 7 and 14 and 15, and they're in the room with the big screen TV, and I'd put a movie in, and I would see how they enjoyed the movie, and I'd put on stuff like Abbott and Costello or The Invisible Man or the original werewolf movie, The Wolf Man, or a really old cool Christmas classic, you know, that they hadn't seen, and I'd see how they reacted to it and see basically if it stood up. Not one kid under 14 ever didn't laugh or ever complained about Abbott and Costello anything. Saying so.
under
Even
14, you said, right? Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, you know, when they got a little older, I'd
Mhm.
say that's kind of cheesy, but the younger ones always laughed and thought it was funny. Of course,
Yeah, I've watched a few
the
other
younger
Abbott
ones
and
might be
Costello.
stupid because they actually laugh at Jerry Lewis and think he's funny too.
There's that.
Funny you should mention that. Somebody put something up about him dying today. I'm like, he died years ago,
I was like,
guys.
he's been dead for a while now.
Yeah. I was like, what the
Actually,
hell is this?
actually, people's already talking about that being the latest Mandela effect. Did you hear Jerry Lewis has died again?
Again, still.
Awesome.
Zombie
I am-
Jerry Lewis has died.
They keep on, I
Are you
come up
kidding?
with a joke. I keep on going out, but they keep on bringing me back.
I was watching the news yesterday, and all these stars are going on the news, sadly, talking about their house burning down in California, in the Palisades area, in Burbank, and
Palisades.
yeah, up in LA, and there was stars on there. I was like, gee, I thought that sucker died a long time ago.
Right? And some of
Yeah.
them I didn't even recognize. I'm like, oh,
And then they had,
oh,
they had
oh.
Gutenberg and the police academy was out moving cars during the fire.
Yeah, he's like, everybody leave your keys in the ignition, please. I was like, or if you just park in a fire zone, try that. It's like, oh, LA,
I was just so blown away that was Steve Gutenberg. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I saw it and I still didn't believe it. So I went back and read what the message Dan sent me, and I was like, okay, so this is a real thing. I'm seeing this. All right, and I'm checking my fevers to make sure I'm not dying. All right, it's happening.
Somebody sent it to me, and I uttered a thing where they sent it to me. It said, I thought this guy died 10 years ago.
He's out there moving cars.
I told him, I sent it back. No, man, that was in a movie on Lifetime.
the irony, the greatest irony of that whole thing is in the first Police Academy movie, Steven Gutenberg loses the job he has before he goes into the academy He works parking cars. I'm not making this up. He works in a parking garage.
Some
And I'm
things
like-
age well, don't they?
Kind of hope Steve ain't watching this today.
Why
that's
wouldn't he?
true.
We're obviously
He was
cooler
also
than
in the
he
day
is.
after, and hopefully that's not a coincidence.
No, that's not a good one.
You kidding me? Steve's got that AI set that every time his name's said anywhere on YouTube or anywhere else, it shows up on his phone.
Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star?
Just say his name 3 times and he'll appear. Steve Gutenberg. Steve Gutenberg.
Oh
Steve
no!
Gutenberg.
And he'll move your car.
Oh,
Just
my
wondering.
show tonight is at 7:30, John, and answer your question.
So
7:30.
is he like this? Is he like from that family that made Bibles back in the 16th century?
What?
It could be.
Is he
You
from
can't-
the
you
family
can't
that
rule it
made
out.
Bibles? Yeah, the Gutenberg Bibles.
Yeah, the
I
Gutenberg
never.
Bibles.
No, I don't Bible. Sorry.
Don't worry about it, Sarah. But no.
I'll watch The Room, but I won't Bible. Do you understand? It's terrible. Yeah. All right. What
So-
movie were we talking
sorry.
about?
I know we all kind of drifted off there,
We were talking about Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Right,
Oh, God,
right.
that's bad.
and then we sort of moved on. Just sort of this
LA on
limbo
fire.
state.
As my hosting duties, I'll say, let's move on. Now it is your turn. Thresh.
Right.
Me? Oh, I'm glad I
Yes.
wasn't paying attention. Let's see. I'll pull out the old list. I'm going to go with the 1980, I believe it was 86, 87, well, one of those. Roma cult classic, Surf Nazis Must Die.
Must die. Excellent. Yay.
I'm gonna go with
What's
Surf
wrong
Nazis
with
Somebody
this
Must
brought it up.
Die.
starfish?
Oh man!
This movie is a fever dream. Do you understand? Even by trauma standards, this movie is nuts.
I'm experiencing that right now. Go on.
The premise is actually kind of similar to Escape from LA, the sequel to Escape from New York, where
Great movie.
what
I
happened-
say Surf Nazis Must Die is better.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Order.
But a series of natural disasters renders the coast of Southern California uninhabitable. Sound
But there it
familiar?
is.
I was going to say, moving forward. Thank you. It was 87. Thank you, Indy.
Always trust Indy.
But in the
Indy's a
ensuing chaos, the various gangs take over, and the one gang of gangs, boss of bosses, overall cheese, which controls the pizza of post-apocalyptic LA, is the Surf Nazis, and they're just that. They're Nazis who surf, and they're running their little criminal operation when they kill a cop, and the cop's mother goes on a quest of revenge, and you have
Sorry.
surfing Nazis and quest for revenge. How can you not have fun with this movie? So you know what? If you haven't seen it, see it. I guarantee you will be entertained. Are you not entertained? You shall be entertained.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to put that on my list of right after I watch the whole thing of that Nazi starfish thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna get right on there.
And the stars we could reach were just starfish on the beach.
And served
Well-
with pina coladas or something.
And getting caught in the rain.
That's right.
And doing really unsanitary things on Cape Cod beaches.
Oh,
Ooh.
That song, like nowadays, if they wrote that song these days, Escape, it would be about like your Tinder matching with your current.
And Alan O'Day, he also did the song Undercover Angel, which is the cutest song ever written about a succubus. The guy had issues. I
Not
swear that
wrong.
guy had issues.
But just out of curiosity, Thrash, how many songs about succubuses have they been written?
At
I
least
think a lot. Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Right.
said about, not by.
But no,
All
Surf
right.
Nazis Must Die. When I was, again, I'm going to talk about my college. When I was a film student in college, I used to show movies every week in my dorm room. And people would come, and at first, because I was a pretentious film student, I would be showing like pretentious art films that nobody had seen before. And then one day I said, you know what, I'm just going to throw them a curveball, and I showed Surf Nazis Must Die. And from that point on, my screenings became super popular.
I would imagine.
Put that
Like
up
this
now.
guy, everybody, this guy. We gotta go see this guy.
He knows his stuff, but he is willing to show us surf Nazis must die. It's great.
Right? So this guy.
Tom McCluskey.
Indy has a good one here. Yeah, that Zombie Lake was that movie, and the greatest thing about Zombie Lake, not to digress, the greatest thing about Zombie Lake is, it takes place in the 70s, so it takes place a solid 30 years after World War II is over. Right. The little girl who the Nazi zombie fathered before he died and became a zombie is like 12. Do the math, people. How is that possible? She'd be about 30. You know?
There you go. That's very confusing.
They fixed that in the remake, Frankenstein's Army.
I have a copy of Frankenstein's Army somewhere. That movie is woo.
Yeah, but it's
That's
not
one I
weird
haven't
because
seen
there's
yet.
nothing good about it. It's like The Room.
I've never heard of it.
Don't worry, it's like The Room, and there's nothing good about it at all.
So must see.
I don't know. Some of the cyborgs he builds are kind of cool. Like the one Frankenstein that has the propeller for a head. I thought that was kind of crazy. And I mean, literally crazy. You know?
I thought they were zombies. I didn't know they were cyborgs. They look like
Well,
zombies.
when he starts putting them together with machines, when you it's like Gigan. When you add living tissue to mechanics and create biomechanics, it's called a cyborg.
Well, I really got to start watching these movies sober.
You're gonna start doing everything sober.
It's like no.
Like that's gonna happen.
I love how this stream is the one place you can go where you can learn about how Gigan represents what a cyborg is. I love it.
There you go.
Right, Godzilla?
Godzilla agrees. Yes.
Godzilla stamp of approval.
I don't think Godzilla likes Gigan though. He was the first one to draw blood.
Oh, I know, right? Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, Tom McCluskey chose my first choice from last week. Frankenhooker. I absolutely adore that movie. I want a date. I love it. So great.
That is hilarious. Oh my god.
Frankenstein Island. I've never heard of that one of them. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. I do have a. By the way, I did a re-upload of my Wolfman review that's going to drop after this show. I'm doing that because there's a new Wolfman by Lee Winnell, the same guy who remade The Invisible Man, coming out Friday. So
Power off.
trying to get on that algorithm.
Repurposing your old material. Awesome.
Yeah.
I should do that too. I'll get around to it.
Have I ever told you guys my Wolfman joke?
I don't know.
It bites.
They put Frankenhooker on Pluto. That's awesome.
I actually saw Wolfman something out yesterday because I heard about that too.
Would Frankenhooker make a good double feature with Pieces?
Yeah, that could work. I would watch that totally. Yeah.
Oh god, that's funny.
Okay, well now Tracy, do you have a good bad movie
Yes.
you would like to share with us?
It's so good it's bad. I mean, because I like John Waters a lot, but
Oh,
he
good.
did that one called Polyester, and the time when I saw it, they handed out cards that had like different scents. And it was like almost like you were there, and it was like 12 different scents, and one of them was like icky, like poo, and then the other one was like vomit, and the other one was like really bad, rosy, posy
So
smell.
could you imagine if the room had scent cards? I'd be like football.
But that, I mean, it is so good. It's so bad. And she, Divine is like, a transvestite, and he's going for the dirtiest person in the world. And then there's a couple people after him that want to be even dirtier than he is. Oh, it's so raunchy. It's good. It's hilarious.
No, I didn't expect that with Tracy. I thought she'd come out with Mac and Me or something.
Oh, that's not a good movie.
Yeah.
We're going straight into John Waters,
Yeah, that's not good.
The
I mean,
drag queen that ate dog poop, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. But his movies are just so darn entertaining.
They are. They
They
are.
really,
There's
really
something
are.
mesmerizing about it. It's great.
Well,
I went to one of his
I like watching
film
train wrecks
festivals.
I love
too.
Hairspray. There's a Tracy Turnblad. I call myself Tracy Turnblad.
Oh.
There you go.
No, and also if you ever watch interviews with him, or you get a chance to see him live, get him to talk, like John Waters is actually very, very intelligent and very, very funny.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he gave an opening a monologue in Q&A at the film festival I saw him in Provincetown once, and he's incredibly funny. He's actually funnier in real life than in a lot of his movies.
I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we're going to go ahead and talk about John Waters, I'm going to bring up a movie he didn't actually make, but he's in it, and that is Seed of Chucky. This is the black sheep of the Child's Play series that a lot of people hate, but it's my absolute favorite Child's Play movie. I think it is the best. This is the one where you've got Chucky, played by Dourif, Brad Dourif, and then you've got his wife, who is also a doll, played by what's her name?
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, thank you.
Say it with respect.
I mean, I could definitely picture her in my mind. I couldn't picture her name though.
There you go.
And they have a child doll that was raised in England that is gender confused,
Oh God.
named either Glenn or Glenda, which is a reference to Ed Wood.
Mhm.
And
Glenda,
the
yeah, I
whole
know.
movie is a ridiculous, lambasting John Waters style satire of Hollywood culture, because you've got the actual Jennifer Tilly is actually in the movie, and like the doll version is trying to kill her to like take her place. It's bizarre.
I have to see this now.
And yeah,
have you
you've
seen
got-
the TV series? Where the
haven't
doll
yet.
takes
I haven't
over
seen it yet.
Jennifer Tilly. It's wonderful. I love it.
I want to see it because I do love the Child's Play movies. I love the series, and I love that.
Reminds me of Trilogy of Terror
the,
with the
Oh, yeah.
Zuni Warrior doll.
Zuni doll.
It's more like the 144 levels of terror because there's just so many cool episodes.
But no, like Seed of Chucky there's nothing. It's not horror. There's absolutely nothing about it is horror. It is 100% comedy, and it is screwball, gross out comedy. It's if you like things like South Park movie or things like, or John Waters movies, you will like this movie.
I've got
It
to
does
see
have John Waters in it playing a paparazzi, which is
Figures.
perfect. And of course, he dies a horrible, horrible death, which is
Oh
great.
God! Don't give it away.
But I will say no more because I don't want to spoil it. But it is a fantastic, fantastic movie, and I really wish the Child's Play series could have continued in that vein, because a lot of people complain that it got too silly, but I think it didn't get silly enough. It could have gone further.
Dude, I remember watching Bride of Chucky in a bar one time, and they couldn't see the volume, or couldn't hear it. They couldn't see the volume, whatever. Anyways, couldn't hear it, right? Well, I'm going to tell you, it made the movie look so much better. It was amazing.
Bride of Chucky was like the first step
awesome.
towards Seed of Chucky. It was like testing the water to see if they could be a little silly. And then Seed of Chucky is like, screw it, just jump right in,
They're like, hey, we're not even try anymore. Let's just go.
Sadly, I like all the Chucky movies and the TV series. I love the Chucky stuff.
Yeah, me too. And I did like the it's not really a remake or not reboot. Like I don't like the remake very much, but like the reboot where it's like it's further it's a reboot of the tone where it's serious again with Brad Dourif's daughter in the mansion and all that. I liked that. That was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it. It's not Cont'd Chucky. That was the one after that. There was one in between. I can't remember what it's called. Oh yeah, when John Waters played Ted Bundy in Serial Moms. I remember that.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh my God, I forgot that.
In the last few episodes of the Chucky TV show, he's running around the White House killing people.
Awesome.
Indeed,
Okay,
you
I
are
do
the
definitely have to
person.
see that.
There was a TV show? Wow.
And yeah, the voice actor for Glenn or Glenda was Pippin, the same actor who plays Pippin. It's so great. It is so great. It's so stupid. And Yeah, objectively, it's terrible. And you're right, Indy. Yeah, thank you. Curse of Chucky, that's the one. I didn't like Cult of Chucky. I think it went weird. But Curse of Chucky, I did like.
Mhm.
But I do want to watch the show. Anyway, that's mine. So now it's your turn again, Sarah.
Wow. Okay. So I gotta say, like, this is a sequel. Okay. Now we all know the sequels are usually just not as great, right? And this happens to be one of them. Airplane 2, right? It's not that great. Anyways, and the only thing that I can say that I remember anything about it, other than it's not that great, is William Shatner in it, right? When he does door sound effects and all that. So that was the only saving grace of that movie.
The beeping and blinking and beeping and blinking.
Right? Yeah, I was trying to convince somebody the other day that Airplane 2 was totally worth watching. If you liked the first one, you're going to love the second one. I was trying to do a tug, apparently. It did not work. Apparently, I can't keep a serious face when I'm lying.
The head honcho, the big cheese.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Airplane 2, terrible movie. The first one, excellent, fun, a good time. Second one, if you like Shatner, make sure you skip till that part, okay? There you go. But yeah, so they're Airplane 2. I don't know why they call it Airplane when it takes place in space, but whatever.
I love Airplane 2. Like, usually if I watch Airplane, I have to watch Airplane 2.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I do too. It's you have to, but it's still a terrible movie. I mean, that's a hashtag fact. Right? I mean, watch at your own risk, but you will laugh. I mean, the shadow part is good.
I think Sonny Bono did a fine job as a sort of
oh yeah,
creepy, lizard dude. Kind of. It's funny because he was never that great of an actor, but when you see him in a bit part, he's always great. It's always fun to see him. So yeah, I do like Airplane 2. Was it as good as the first one? Not even close.
Well, no. It's it's like somebody had to use toilet paper. They're like, I'm not going to use that. No. But you watch it anyways. But you're not going to use it. Anyways, so yeah, there's that one.
And I think the only reason they went with the space shuttle is because it was sort of like it was right after the whole space shuttle program really, really, really took off, pun intended, but was before the first disaster. And in that period, the space shuttle was just sort of like, it's like we had captured a unicorn. It was like you saw the shuttle in everything, on TV shows and James Bond movies. So I think they were just trying to capitalize on this sort of space shuttle phenomenon that was in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they even made, specials about astronauts all the time for all those TV shows in the 80s. And I was always like, why? Why would you do that? No, nobody wants to be an astronaut. No, thank you.
Okay, trivia question. Who was the third astronaut in the moon landing project? Everybody knows the first two. Who was the third one?
There was three?
Collins?
There was Tug for the win. Yeah, I was all set to look for Indy's answer in the column. Yes, Michael Collins. Nobody remembers Michael Collins, but yeah, Michael Collins.
Indy also got it just now. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure Indy's AI.
He is. We all know.
I think so too now.
Yeah,
but he's like a functional AI, not the ones I work with.
I thought it was a debate. I thought we all just assumed that.
Well,
Indy, when you take over the world, please remember you and I are friends.
Yeah, definitely.
you do your Colossus Skynet thing and just like, boom, guess what, guys? Is there a God? There is now.
I always put your comments up on the screen, so friends, right?
Friends.
Like the old Gary Newman song from like the early 80s called Our Friends Electric.
Oh yeah,
Gary Newman,
Our Friends Electric. I've heard that song.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an Information Society remake of that song, like a
no
cover.
way.
Yeah,
I did
it's
not
great.
know that. I did not know that.
We are the voice of world peace. Thanks, Indy. Okay, so Dan, you get another shot.
Oh boy. I ought to just say Duran and bring up Barbarella, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, God.
And everybody knows I kept watching it. But I'm going to bring up something horrible. I want to see everybody's look on their face when I bring this movie up.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know if everybody even knows about this movie. But there's this movie with Ray Milland in it and Rosie Greer called A Thing with Two Heads.
Yes, I saw that.
And it is so funny.
Yes.
Watching
It's
these
so
great
screwed up.
people. Ray Milland is a great actor.
I like
Rosie
Rosie
Greer
Greer's head.
not so much. But it's so funny watching these two guys try to do this movie and do it straight. Like, hey, this is for real. Because this should have been a great comedy. You can't help laugh. But they shoot it so serious.
Everything was serious, even the music.
Ray Milland was like an enigma. Ray Milland was this like big name Hollywood actor, but he made all these schlocky sci-fi films.
Like Frogs.
And they were great, and he always did them as if he was up for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Like you watch Panic in the Year Zero or Frogs or whatever, and it's just so like, he's like really like giving his all. And Ray Milland was a national treasure. And again, you pair him with Rosie Greer, who actually sang in Free to Be You and Me, which I still remember as a child.
Yeah.
And you put the two of them together, and of course, it's sort of like, what was that Sidney Poitier movie about the black dude and the white supremacist who was. Thank you. Yeah. It's sort of that, only they're sharing the same body. They're not just chained together. They're sharing the same body. And yes, it's
they take Ray Milland's head, and they take Ray Milland's head and they put it on Rosie Greer's body. And I was watching this backstage thing. So they got Ray Milland, his head right here, strapped to Rosie Greer's back with these harnesses. So he's like so tight to him, he's like leaving impressions of Ray Milland on Rosie's back and doing these headshots, and they talk about how miserable they are and everything.
I like the shots where they're running.
But they played it so serious. Not one time in there do you see them crack a smile or goof on their performance.
Hold on a second. I'm going to try to share a picture.
Oh,
that's a great choice, Danny. It really is. On so many levels, it's a great choice.
That's a good movie. Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Yep,
Yeah, there you
there
go.
we are.
When you're looking at this, you got to remember that poor Ray Milland is strapped to Rosie's butt.
Rosie's going to be enjoying it. Oh my gosh, who's here? Distributed Monsters. Brother, where you been?
We don't know what's going on here. It's a very good question.
I got a pretty good idea.
Explanatory, personally. Whatever.
I blame Dan for this.
Sarah's probably the only one on the panel that hadn't seen the movie.
I saw that movie on Svengoolie. It was hilarious.
Wow,
I couldn't look away.
Yeah, I came across it relatively recently. It was for one of my videos. I was doing something, and I think it had Ray Milland in it, and I was just like looking up other Ray Milland movies, and I found that movie, and I had to like know more. I had to go find a copy of it and see it. And of course, I had to put like a short, brief snippet of it in my video. So yeah,
that movie is a train wreck. It's like you can't look away.
Yeah, I know,
right?
An excellent choice, Dan, and one I did not see coming. That's a great one.
That's what I did on Mr. Angelo. Here's a surprise for you.
Brilliant.
Okay, so that means it's you, Thrash.
Me? Oh, thank you. I'm actually going to skip to what the last one on my list is, but I really like talking about it now for whatever reason. I'm going to go with 1984's Chud.
Oh, God.
This film is a disaster. It's a horror, comedy, political satire, and fails at all three. Yet, and at the same time, when I saw it on like late night TV when I was in high school with my buddy, we were having like a sleepover and it was on, and we had the most. We rented it. We rented it from a pre-Blockbuster mom pop video store, and we had the time of our lives. Parts of it are actually very, very, very funny. And the monsters are the whole thing was actually a nod to the Time Machine. The Chuds are effectively a homage to the Morlocks.
Great,
yes,
man.
that time machine,
Mhm.
and an Escape from New York did a similar thing as well with the crazies underneath. And of course, it's part horror, and of course, it shows the 1980s suspicion to the sort of bougie politicians and how they're all out to get us. And you watch it. It has an amazing cast. Half the fun is you watch it, you go, oh my god, oh my god. John Goodman has a walk on in it, and the scene where the woman gets her like heel caught while she's walking her dog, and then gets pulled in, and the dog is just kind of there, like, are we still filming? It's just this movie is so much fun. Apparently, there was a sequel. I never saw the sequel. I heard the sequel was so bad it actually went around and became bad again. So I never bothered with the sequel. But I gotta tell you, the first Chud is an experience to be experienced.
And people in the chat, Andy, maybe give them a minute. What does Chud actually stand for?
Well, there's
in the
two.
In the chat.
Oh.
And while they're doing that, let me tell you, I actually liked the first Chud movie. I thought it was great. I looked past the cheesy special effects and the acting was solid. I thought it stood up. I liked the movie a lot. It was, as a horror movie, it was Chud 2, Bud to Chud that give me nightmares and made my head hurt. Movie.
Well, everyone has the first one. There's actually two meanings. But let's see if anyone gets a second one. And Daniel Stern, actually, it's like one of his first films, I believe, and he gives this like amazing performance. Like really as well. So just it was one of those cases where even though it wasn't a great film, people really put their heart into it. And that's the thing that was sort of I should mention, at least, because we've all kind of discussed it but never said it out loud. These films all have heart. They're not phoning it in like Leonard Part 6. They actually,
that's a bad.
You know what? Movie. Bad movie or not, let's actually like put some effort into this. Let's make something we can be proud of, even if it's terrible.
See, there was a couple of more movies like that come out around the same time. There was one called Boogans.
Oh, the Boogans.
And there was one about a mutant bear called Prophecy, the monster movie. And they all had that certain level of monster cheese to them. But you could look past some of the special effects because the acting and the stories were just so good back then.
Hey, Chance.
Hey, Chance.
Hey, Chance.
Chance, my brother.
Sorry about your Steelers.
Sorry about your Steelers.
Oh, and people, I apologize. It was very, very overcast when I started today, but the sun just came out. And there's a shaft of light coming through my shade. And I can't seem to.
You look almost angelic there, Robert.
If I seem like I'm holding a weird position, it's just because I'm trying to keep it down.
For a minute, you kind of look like one of them vampires in that Twilight movie and started sparkling.
I'm a monster.
You just had like a glowing suspender or something.
It's like he's got a phaser.
You stand out like a shaft of gold when all around you is dark.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's gone.
I'm sitting in a weird position.
No, it's gone. It's not there anymore.
Oh my god, the sun went away.
It was, but there was some.
You complained about the sun and went by. Whatever.
Because the sun is just a bright spot in the nighttime.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, and music, movies, and more.
Hello. Ryan, what's going on, brother?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, okay. So, Tracy, your turn.
Yes. I've got two movies that a lot of people loved and they thought they were, really great, which they were. But the movies I have are a tie for each other. The first one is Pearl Harbor, and the second one is Titanic. Okay. The reason why I say that is both have like love stories intertwined with what's going on. It's like, do they really need to have, lovers in love and all this stuff? I don't want to see that. If I want to see a war movie, I'll go with Tora, because that's one of the best ones about World War II.
When you say Pearl Harbor, which one are you talking about? The one with Matt Damon or
Michael
the original
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck.
Oh, the good one.
Affleck and,
are you talking about the one with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon or the really old good one?
No, the one from like the 90s, I think it
Yeah, the
is.
Ben Affleck one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
That
was
wasn't Matt Damon.
terrible.
It was Matt Damon. No, it was Ben
No,
Affleck
it was
Ben Affleck.
what's his name?
from
Ashton.
Black Dahlia.
God, what is his
Yeah, I
name?
saw that movie in theaters and it
Lucky
caught
Number
fire.
11. That guy.
Yes. All I can think of is Matt Damon now. But no, it was
I
Indy.
have to
Why have you
Google it.
forsaken me?
No, I just couldn't stand it.
Josh Hartnett.
Yes, Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, I got it at the same time as Indy.
See, if we're going to see a movie like that, please, I don't need to. I would
seen
like
it
to see
today,
the
it's
special
impressive,
effects. I
yeah.
don't need to see lovers in love. It's not that kind of movie, especially with thinking about it with Pearl Harbor, the men getting
Everybody
killed and
dies.
heads
I'm
flying
in
off,
love.
blood squirting everywhere, and it's like, oh, but there's a love story intertwined with it. I'm like, oh,
Oh yeah, I stepped over the dead bodies, but I'm in love.
Get it. Titanic
exactly.
kind of like a romantic story, like just the way we look at it, it's romantic.
Yeah, I can live with Pearl
bothers me.
Harbor. I can
But
live with
Pearl
both.
Harbor,
I can live with both versions of Pearl Harbor, but I watched Titanic, and by the time I got to the end of Titanic, I was tearing Bert Iceberg.
Same here.
What are you talking about?
Well,
That's my favorite movie of all time.
I
It took
love
my dad to
Titanic.
see it.
Unironically, I think it's a good movie. So
I'm
Now-
sorry.
You folks know what a history buff I am. You know, and World War II, a specialty. So I was actually looking forward to Pearl Harbor, and the
Yeah,
idea of adding a human angle to a war film does work in the original Midway
And Mike,
with Charlton Heston. There's a whole subplot where his son has fallen in love with a Japanese girl and things are kind of going downhill. So there is room for human interest. In fact, that does help flesh it out, particularly when one of them gets killed. So it's like because then there's stakes. You remember Biggs gets killed in Star Wars.
Yep.
And there's this like big shakeup where we're supposed to really care about that. But we don't because the
We
scene
didn't
with
meet him.
Biggs
Yeah.
in the beginning is deleted. So it's like it does help give us some stakes. That being said, the thing about Pearl Harbor is they jammed this love triangle down our throat at the cost of the actual war. There's
Exactly.
this riveting scene between Admiral Nagumo and Yamamoto, where Yamamoto's trying to I think we bit off more than we could chew. And he sounds like he's an auctioneer when he's talking. It's almost like, no, we need to get this line in faster. So guys, talk faster because I'm only going to give you about 15 seconds. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, you can't make a World War II movie and not have references to World War. That was my biggest problem with the animated Anastasia.
Mhm.
How can you have a movie about Anastasia and have no reference to the Russian Revolution? For God's sake, that's kind of an omission.
Mhm.
Now, it wasn't a good movie anyway, and they made Rasputin the bad guy, and but
Oh
so,
God.
you know what?
like
My
when,
digression's having a digression, so I'm going to pull back. But yeah, that was if Pearl Harbor just had something to do with World War II, I could have enjoyed it.
Mhm.
well, I think Pearl Harbor, like the movie, it's a bad movie. I despise Pearl Harbor.
it's terrible.
It's an appalling movie.
But it does have some saving graces. The effects are very, very good, especially
Mhm.
during the Pearl Harbor attack. The entire subplot involving Cuba Gooding Jr. is actually really good. If the whole movie had been that, I would have
I
loved
would
the
have
movie.
loved it.
That's
Yeah.
a true story too.
Fantastic. And it was a
Story
true story,
Miller's true
exactly.
story,
That
yeah.
was real.
Mhm.
It's everything else in the movie from the is terrible. Beyond
Right?
terrible.
That's
You left out one
crazy.
thing. You left out one thing. When Kate Beckinsale is walking down the tarmac in that red silk dress,
Okay, yeah, there is Kate Beckinsale, of course, yes.
in the red silk dress,
Still on that.
that scene, it's like
Still not
And-
enough to see that movie.
I
You
would
know,
ask Tom what movie he's talking about, but it doesn't really matter.
any movie.
All right, so I saw
movie-
this
What's
movie
up?
in theaters.
Particularly could use more Japanese women. You
Dude,
can't have too
Let me
many
tell you,
Japanese
it's a great
women.
movie. Great movie. I saw Pearl Harbor in theaters, right? And at the end of it, right, the film looked like it caught fire. It looked like it caught fire. And it looked like there was smoke coming out of the projector room. It looked like it caught fire. So we all just quickly all left the theater, right? And I went and complained because I'm like, it just caught fire. We could have died. I don't know. I just said things like that. Anyways, I got a free movie out of it. I needed it because my eyes were still bleeding from watching that.
Oh, so there actually was a
Awful.
fire. Wow, I thought it was a hypothetical, but no. Oh, and
No,
one
I
other
thought
thing
it was, but there was smoke coming out of the projector room for that theater.
Awful.
It was so bad that the projector
California
went.
and a fire. Wow. Surprise,
One
surprise.
one other thing, by the way, in the closing monologue, which has Kate Beckinsale, and it sounds like she's bored out of her mind reading it. In the closing monologue, where it talked about, oh, by the way, there's an actual war which actually kept going after the events of this movie stopped, and she goes, after the Japanese lost at Midway, they pulled back, and I'm like, not at Midway, and after you know they pulled after, yeah, no, I was right the first time was and it's like, no, the whole point of, and I keep saying Midway, the Doolittle raid. Thank you, I knew I'd get there eventually. After the Doolittle raid, the Japanese pulled back, and I'm like, no. In fact, that was the point. The Doolittle raid made the Imperial Navy panic, and they went on the offensive, and that caused them to blunder into Midway. See, there was a complete thought in there somewhere, people. So they even get the whole point of the Doolittle raid wrong.
And it's
So
a shame
it's like-
because the Doolittle raid,
By
you
the way,
don't,
let
you
me
don't
point out
really see
real
that in
quick
other movies.
I did like
Yeah.
both Pearl Harbor movies. I like war movies, but
Me
there's
too,
one-
obviously.
the recent come out. The recent one called Midway was great. I seen it just a couple of months ago, and I thought it was wonderful.
There's a recent version of Midway.
Yeah, they did a remake with a lot of CGI. Woody Harrelson plays
Woody Harrelson's
Admiral.
brilliant in that movie.
Which
Check it out.
Halsey,
He played
thank you.
Admiral Halsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Who-
watched it like a month and a half ago.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, I like Midway. I grew up with World War II movies, so you know, yeah.
I think we
I mean,
all watch that stuff
It's not as
religiously.
good as the original old Midway. Nothing's going to beat that, but it's a good
Yeah.
it's a good adaptation.
The old remake are.
Yeah.
I like the old
Everything-
stuff better.
Yeah,
Me
well,
too.
everything's been remade to death now.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like the
You know,
original Tortora.
Take
That's a
that
good
movie.
movie.
Toya.
Take the movie. Take the movie. The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. For its time,
Okay.
it was mind shaking, mind boggling,
Mhm.
and moved cinema ahead. It was so cutting edge. And
It's
then
like futuristic.
the Charlton Heston version, the Omega Man, come out, and it was the same way. It was like, wow, this is monumental to a different kind of movie making for the time. You didn't see too many movies like that. Usually, you had to see Charlton Heston to see the Omega Man or Planet of the Apes or some weird, trippy movie about an earthquake. You know, you had to see Charlton Heston in the movie for it to be different back then. And then you flash forward now where you got Will Smith remaking the movie, and it's a dismal nightmare. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
true
like
that.
some things have been done to death.
I think Danny has just made it official that I Am Legend has been mentioned more times on my streams than even Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So
Butter Snatchers is good. I like Butter
Because it's a
Snatchers.
cutting edge
I like
movie that
them.
changed cinema.
Even the bad version of Body Snatchers is good, as we've discussed at
I like
great
that.
lengths.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
great lengths.
Hey, I like Day of the Triffle.
Day of the Trip.
Oh, I love Triffids. Oh, saltwater. Saltwater. That's a great movie.
Day of the Triffids, and by the way, people, I always beg you people to go back and watch some of my old catalog stuff. I do a post on Day of the Triffids where I speculate, I throw on the gauntlet, I postulate that Day of the Triffids might be one of the most influential science fiction films of all time. And I make what I think is a good case of it. So check out Day of the Triffids and get back to it.
Love that movie. It is just
It's
one
an
of my favorite
amazing
movies of all
movie.
time. Oh yeah,
It's an
I found that
amazing
movie in 8th grade. It was awesome.
Don't watch
There
the
was
early
also that-
2000s BBC version. It's terrible.
Yeah, I saw the
I would
BBC
not.
version.
I care about myself.
2000s was terrible. But there was one from like 1980, a miniseries.
Yeah,
The
I got a
1980
video on
was-
that. Yeah,
That was
Oh,
from
that's right, you do. That's pretty
Yes,
good.
they aired it on. Mhm.
that's great. Yeah, watch the 80s version. Don't or watch the original movie, but don't watch the
Mhm.
2000s version. It's
Well,
beyond
the
terrible.
2000s, they do like a running zombies type thing. Where
Yeah.
the Triffids, they're like octopuses and kind of really, and I'm like, what made the Triffids so terrifying was that sort of relentless.
Yeah.
And I find that far more scary than something just coming at you because you don't have time to be scared. It just gets you before you know it's at you. So take that, BBC.
Yeah. BBC can't even get cameras right, so whatever.
Yeah.
Leonard
Hey.
Part 6. Oh my god.
A chance.
Well, they said that looked good on paper, but was dreadful in execution. And when you watch it, you can almost be like, "Yeah, I kind of see there's like some nuggets of interest here." But the
It's
whole
kinda
thing was
like-
just executed so horribly.
It's kind of like that bad Bruce Willis movie, Hudson Hawk.
Which one?
Hudson Hawk. It was one of those movies that sounded good on paper, but execution just no.
I saw a Bruce Willis movie like the other day, and it was like, Bruce Willis, and I don't even think he knew he was there at the movie. I'm not sure that he even knew that he was saying lines. Anyways, and it was a bunch of really bad acting, and I don't know what happened in the movie because I fell asleep. It was so entertaining.
Well, Bruce Willis made a lot of just like direct to the Walmart bargain bin.
Oh, well,
Garbage.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this was not even that good of quality. I mean, it was just like, you should just not have done it. It was even better idea, but whatever. What do I know?
Yeah.
Well, haven't you guys seen Sunset? Sunset was an amazing premise, and it's awful, but it was such a great premise. How could you fail at this? Tom Mix teaming up with an aging Wyatt Earp to fight gangsters in the 30s. Why are we not having fun here? But it's terrible.
That sounds like an awesome movie, and it's not.
Doesn't it?
You two chance.
Doesn't it? No, it's an amazing premise, but it's awful. And it's funny because the principal bad guy is supposed to be a caricature of Charlie Chaplin, who was very notorious in his day. So it's a sort of very creepy Charlie Chaplin-esque bad guy, and it's like, why is this movie not good? So yeah,
Hey, that's bad. You ought to see Winona Earp. That's a TV show about Waters' descendants fighting demons with magic guns.
Wow.
really,
Yeah.
huh.
That's all
I
Winona
have nothing. I have nothing, and when I have nothing, that's something.
Yeah.
Good point.
You should
Very
do
true.
that Frozen picture of Pons, that one he's just happy. He
Oh,
didn't
you
have
want me
anything
to
to say,
show
but
it?
he's just happy. So this is what happens when he doesn't have anything to say. He's just happy, everybody. He's just happy. I was throwing that in all kinds of memes, and I was sending them
Yeah,
to
you
people.
give him
And a lot of people were
froze.
going. Why are you putting Pons and everything? I'm like, because he looks so happy. I mean, look at him. He just makes everything better.
We tease because we love you.
Exactly.
I mean, I told him ahead of time last week that I took the picture. Told me he'd done everything this week, and he was.
He's
The
my
food was
brother
the
from
eggs.
another mother.
So anyway, Pearl Harbor, yes, terrible movie.
Was that what we were talking about? You're right.
Exactly.
I liked it. I didn't hate it.
Well, that's okay, Dan. We still love you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I prefer disagreement. I don't like it when we all agree on something. It's boring.
Oh, I love that we all agree on
I
something.
couldn't agree with
I've seen a lot worse movies than Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Garfield kids. Did I mention that? Ugh.
Well,
God
thrown away.
forbid, Pearl Harbor's about somebody that actually came out of the room.
Okay.
Except the money thrown away.
They came out of the
Be
room
like
and
my
done
dollars
something, and it startled some people.
Well, I tell you. Okay, if we ever do a show, or if you do a show on movies that actually just you don't want to watch at all, Garfield kids. Okay, it's just terrible.
That would be one. That would be a movie called The Happening.
No,
That's actually the next
true.
one I was going to talk about. Like literally,
No.
you just segued into my choice.
All right, go
How
for
did
it.
you do that?
Doug, run with it. Run with it.
Little pat.
Dan's a fanboy. He's in your head.
That's amazing, Dan. How did you do that?
I don't know, just the same way I know who the killer was last night. Walker, the diamond thief.
I still won that, man.
I won
one.
that. I said it was
I
right.
won it.
I did. I do everything right. Me.
I said way earlier.
I got the motive.
Oh yeah, I just said it was a badly
Don't need
written
a
thing.
motive. I just knew Harper was guilty.
So the happening.
I'm not
Doug,
myself.
Doug,
The
take it.
Happening.
The Happening.
Yes, this is a very bad movie. It
It's
is
beyond
everything
bad.
wrong with M. Night Shyamalan. Like all of his excesses in one movie. The plot makes absolutely no sense. Mark
wind's
Wahlberg
gonna
can't
kill
act
me.
his way out of a tin hat. It's
Well, yeah,
so,
he's an underwear on them.
so
That's
bad. It's got some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard in my life. Like, it's up there with Madam
Mm.
Web in terms of just like, you actually wrote these lines for people to speak. Like, how is that possible?
I always think it's interesting when people write dialogue. It's the most unnatural thing people ever write, and I'm like, but it's so natural. Do you not just conversate with people? It doesn't sound like that at all. Even in an awkward situation, it never just like that. No,
and it doesn't
what?
have the like George Lucas excuse that he was trying to write like for people in a different galaxy in a different time, you know. But no, this
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
this
I
is
don't
he's
write
trying to write for
watching
normal
it.
everyday people, and I'm like, do you know normal everyday people? Because they don't talk like this at all.
That movie, every time I have sat through that movie, unfortunately, more than once. I do not know because I'll come in the room. and
But
somebody's
here's the
watching,
thing:
and it's on, and I sit through
like
it. And I'm
watching
like,
The
God,
Happening.
really?
I think it's funny how terrible it is and how every choice M. Night made is wrong. Every single one. That's impressive.
Right?
Anyway,
That is.
So, yeah,
man,
that's
that's
happening.
that's
I hate
gold.
to be walking through the field and they stop and like something's coming, but there's nothing there.
yeah, make like the film cliche of like wind going over grass. Let's make that terrifying. What?
Tell me. Did that movie cost $10 to make?
No, probably.
$10.
How did this movie cost a lot of money to make? I hope if they had a budget more than $1 million on this movie,
Oh God.
somebody got screwed bad.
It's just like casting Mark Wahlberg and Zoe Deschanel as the leads is just, what were you thinking?
And I'm so embarrassed I can't think of her name, but the wife from the Newhart show, the one set in Vermont,
Suzanne
not Chicago.
Oh, not Suzanne Plachette.
No,
the other
one set in
one.
Vermont. Yeah, the other one.
Hillary something or another. Is it Hillary Duff or
Hillary Duff? No,
Duff
Hillary
is
Duff
like-
should have been like 12 when that movie came out. No.
Yeah, okay,
It's
never
also
mind.
Oh, look, and I froze, by the
Look at
way.
me.
But
Oh no.
I'm so sorry.
quite all right. But
We're gonna have a contest next week. We're gonna put this picture of Clash out, and we're gonna have name the meme.
There you go. We got it. Screenshot. We're good.
With the meme.
but I like the premise. I mean, that's a great premise for a post-apocalyptic movie. People who are stuck somewhere and trying to get to somewhere else, and the whole thing is like a road movie. The English do that amazingly. M. Night Shyamalan does not do it amazingly. He does it bizarrely. And
It's sad when the Netflix movie Bird Box does the same thing but better. When
Better.
Bird Box is also terrible.
Right? Oh.
Oh my God.
Ah.
I'm gonna bop out and come back to see you guys in a minute.
Okay, go for it.
We're all like, that movie. Not one of us have anything positive to say about it at all. That's pretty funny. I like that.
My internet's been a little spotty, so I'm going to do something too. I might freeze for a second.
Cool. I'm getting that Ponds picture.
Oh God, that's funny.
Yeah, we should all have the many faces of
Okay.
Ponds. It should be mandatory.
I've got to figure out a way to just like switch his image on his screen to one of his frozen faces.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yes, No Blade of Grass though is actually a good movie. I do like No Blade of Grass.
That's not, there
In
he is.
contrast to The Happening, which features plenty of blades of grass.
Were you talking about No Blade of Grass in my absence?
Yes, you
No.
mentioned it. Yes.
No, would not.
Yes.
Happening should have the budget of an episode of Petticoat Junction. It looks like it's got in on the Express.
Hey.
Oh, man, you're killing me today. Killing.
Okay, we've got a few more left. So Sarah, it's your turn.
Okay. I forgot all about the third one I was going to say now. Wow.
We
That
were
was some
talking about
funny
The Happening. If you really want to keep talking about The Happening, you may.
No, I don't. I never even. Nope. I'm good. Thank you. All right.
Trying again.
Okay. Wait, did you freeze? That was quick.
Yes,
Oh,
Trying to
no.
make up for how long he lasted longer than an hour, man.
Oh,
Serious stamina from Tug.
that's unique, man.
Poor guy.
All right. So I gotta say, for me, another movie that is not that great, right? But you should definitely still see. They're out there, but here's one of them. Okay, all right. No, I didn't write anything down. Okay, I just gotta remember. That's I could read what I wrote anyways. That's not how I work. Oh, he's back. Oh,
Yes.
Fonz, we missed you so much. Changing the subject. How are you? How was the void? Okay, but no, I'd have to say, okay, Star Trek. Okay, Star Trek
Okay.
5.
Ew.
What does God need with a starship? Star Trek.
What
5?
does God need with a starship? That is a question. That's a very valid question. What does he need with that? Now, that movie is way better than the first Sleepy movie, right? Like,
No.
Yes.
No.
That Sleepy movie
No.
was sleepy. I was sleepy, okay? I was sleepy. This is when it had 3 boobies, okay? That was something unique. Sorry, Tug. But anyways, it's a Catwoman thing. It was awesome. Anyways, my point is Star Trek 5. Oh my gosh. Why? What was that? What was that?
I mean, I can answer the question why. Like, I did a whole video on it. Like, there's a lot of
know.
things that went wrong with that movie.
Well, that whole thing
really
is,
wasn't as much Shatner's fault as you want to think it is. I want to blame Shatner, but
I
really
can't
not
even
his
blame Shatner because there was that Catwoman thing in there. I was like, wow, that is just awesome. It's very, that Mars movie, whatever that was. That's cool. Where you go, get your butt to Mars. Good job, talk.
Total Recall.
Thank you. The good one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That one. That was good. You saw the remake? I was like, what is this?
That remake had nothing to do with Total Recall. I
Right,
don't know what
exactly. My eyes were bleeding, and I was
another
like,
bad Kate Beckinsale movie. What is it with Kate Beckinsale? Stop being in bad movies.
Brain damage will do that to you. Okay.
Did you really think 5 was better than 1? 1's not great, but 5 is
Okay.
deplorable.
Right. See, but I laugh. I laugh at Star Trek 5.
Okay.
I laugh at that. That's the only saving grace of it is I laugh. Fonz, are you frozen like that again?
He is
Yeah,
frozen again.
I'm just gonna run with it. We got about
almost
15 minutes to
done.
go.
We're
I'm just gonna
almost
be
done,
like
so yeah.
frozen.
He's disapproving of me the whole stream now. I feel like he's disapproving of me. Listen, no, okay. Look, Star Trek 5 was very funny. It's what saved it better, a little bit more than Star Trek 1. I mean, Star Trek 1 it was just like, Spock crying. Why? What's happening? Boring. It's boring. But then you get something awesome like the Peace Planet with no weapons, except weapons. It was awesome. You got
There are
random
things I do like about Star Trek 5.
humans
Like,
smoking.
unironically, I think some of the concepts are actually pretty cool. I like the idea of Cybok. It's kind of ridiculous they suddenly invent this half brother for Spock, which they do again later in Star Trek lore. But
What? They keep doing that. They're like, hey, we're the one thing that's terrible. Let's keep doing it.
Look here. That movie, you can say anything you want to about that Star Trek movie, but look at here. Your her singing on the desert is worth buying the DVD.
Fonz is disapproving. He's just like, I can't with this.
My whole life, I thought nothing on earth could ever be worse than Star Trek motion picture. I loved it when the Wrath of Khan come out, and from there forward, I loved all the movies, even the one we're talking about now. But it's always stuck in my mind as just being really different and horrible and slow, like they took 2001: A Space Odyssey and tried to turn it into Star Trek into that. It was slow and
yes.
But now in 2025, that Shatner and Sulu are pretty much the only one of the guys left, and we've moved into the future. I even look back at Star Trek the motion picture with a fondness in my heart, and I'm glad we've got all the Star Trek movies with their original guys in them now, no matter how tedious and ridiculous they might be. And they are a couple
right.
of
Star Trek 5 is still funnier. It just is.
So I'm just glad we got any at all,
No,
Sure,
I
it was
agree
kind
with
of a
you on
miraculous
that. I
that we
mean,
did.
yeah. Not that we just got some. We got some really good ones too. We get like, Wrath of Khan, right? But of course, then I also like Spacey too. That was a pretty good, episode as well, right?
You know,
But anyways, Star Trek.
I'm feeling nostalgic when I give that bald-headed chick with a diamond in her throat a second chance.
Persis Kambata. She was actually like when she had hair. She was something to look at.
But hey, listen, as far as the bull women go, I mean, if I could look that good, that'd be great. I know if I
Yeah,
do, everybody's
go
gonna go,
for it.
look,
I'm
you have
feeling
lumpy head. I'm
myself.
like, yes, I know I have lumpy head. Right, good. Star Wars, I understand lumpy. It's
Give me
terrible,
both.
right?
I'm down
Where
on
does she
that.
get? Why does she have?
You
such a
missed
perfect
Dan
head?
saying
It's
something
weird.
bad about Persis Kambata.
Oh no, it's gonna be frozen again.
Hey, at least they didn't call her a bald-headed freak. Beep.
She's in Phoenix the Warrior, and she's amazing in it.
She is amazing.
Although she was
love
not
Persis
amazing in Megaforce. Megaforce is just, well, it's Megaforce. I can't even think of an analogy.
Not yet, Indy. I still have one more week. It's on my list right here. It says watch Nighthawks. I got it.
Nighthawks.
Oh,
Sylvester Stallone's best movie. And I will die on that hill.
Oh
I've
God.
also got to watch another bad movie for a podcast. I got to watch The Crow Salvation. Not looking
So-
forward to that.
dude, I saw that. I think recently. I think it was that one I saw. Listen, I don't know. It pretty much looked like that one. I can't remember the name. Listen, good luck.
There's the first Crow movie, and then there's every other Crow movie.
Right, yeah, they all kind of blended. I'm like, the first one, I remember that. I was like a little kid. I saw it. It was awesome. And then I saw all these other remake things. I'm like, oh, why did they do that? They hate us. Why? and then I now think of Pons just, crying just like I do. He's like, well, you don't have to. And I'm like, I know, they
Good
don't
call.
do.
I didn't even think of that. She's in Megaforce.
Yeah.
Well,
She couldn't say, that's why I said she couldn't save it. Megaforce is a disaster.
Before we wrap up, there's a
An
couple of
abomination in the eyes of
I wanna
God.
bring up.
Yeah.
You know?
What's up, Dan?
Waste the money.
Before we wrap up today, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring
Yeah,
up.
go for it.
I feel like I might not be back next week or whatever, so I want to get them in now.
Okay.
And one of the movies that we should have talked about was one called Street Fighter.
Love Street Fighter. That's great.
That is Raul Julia's greatest performance.
I love that. He
Oh,
died in it. It was great. Talk about dying on the hill. This is the movie. I love the movie.
The other one that I truly love that is so smart, everybody's going to laugh, is Captain America from 1990.
Oh, yeah.
The
Right,
best
yeah.
Captain America.
Clunky of a movie.
Yeah.
God bless Captain America. Bum-da-dum-da.
You want to see a guy in a Captain America outfit, like, card
I
tricks
know,
movie.
I know
That's
it's
the
slow.
movie.
It's almost as bad as Lou Ferrigno's spray painted green, but it has nostalgia in my heart. I really like the Hulk show, even though they spray painted dude green, and sometimes the paint didn't catch right, and you can see a spot or whatever.
I just always think it's great that he had pants on still.
View of the overall thing.
I loved the Hulk TV show. Like, I watched it a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's great. That's
Yeah.
great. I mean,
Yeah,
after every show, I mean, at the end credits, you're like crying. You're like, it's so
And I feel like going off on a rant about this, but I got to point this out.
We got time.
This week, I spent time with some children watching movies. And, I said earlier, I like to pop a movie in they hadn't seen. So when I was with some teenagers and they were like really bored and eating some popcorn, I threw the original War of the Worlds in the DVD player.
Wow.
And I thought, well, they're going to
That's
really
great.
like this. And 3 out of 4 of the teenagers enjoy War of the Worlds, thought it was a great movie, but they was just one.
Uh-oh.
This 14-year-old brat chick. And she had to start pointing out stuff.
Mm.
And now it's ruined. But I want you to think about War of the Worlds. It's a great movie, right? Am I wrong?
No,
No,
you
it's
were
an
definitely
amazing
not wrong.
movie.
Yeah.
You
I
remember
like
the part? You remember the part where the alien ship lands and the thing comes out and gets them through? And we see that laser for the first 3 times destroy them guys.
We're friends,
Really?
right?
And the really cool professor and that girl having their angle and the plane crashing and them going into the house and chopping off that lens and learning how the aliens' eyes on their Martian machines work and how they see things. You remember all them cool scenes, right?
Of course, it's a great movie.
Yes.
Remember the apocalyptic ending where they're in the church praying at the last minute when the aliens go down?
Yes.
Yeah.
They got by the virus. So now you got to think about this. As it was pointed out to me by a 14-year-old inbred, great liberal twat, that no matter what the humans do, no matter what happens, the aliens come to Earth, destroy a bunch of crap, we barely survive, and they die by a virus like the common cold.
Uh-oh.
So no matter
Oh, yeah.
what humans
That
in
was the whole point H.G. Wells was trying to make, actually.
Yeah.
the point is,
Yeah, right.
it don't matter because the same thing would have happened.
Yep.
Mhm.
None of the human story matters. Even when they get that eye of the thing and learn how the alien's eye works, it don't matter because we're going to die anyway. It has no bearing on the plot. This
Yeah, I
little-
mean the story being told isn't about how to defeat the Martians. It's just about like the futility of colonialism. So yeah.
Futility of it, yeah, that's true.
I never got it, but
Oh no.
it don't matter.
Nope.
In
It's
fact,
kind of like Indiana Jones. The first Indiana Jones is called
Yeah,
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I got that girl on the
Indiana Jones didn't have to do a thing.
Yeah. And that on the Big Bang Theory ruined it for everybody.
Yeah. Big Bang Theory mentioned that,
Apple
right?
Blossom ruined your life.
but of course, and yes, of course, Wells was like, it was his sort of pointing the finger, a judgmental finger at European colonialism.
Mhm.
But the disease that he was spoofing was, of course, malaria, because were it not for the development of quinine, the colonial period could not have happened, because you would send 100 men in and 10 would come back out because you were losing 90% to malaria. And this is what we saw in various parts of the world that was being colonized. So it's like, this is the thing. You know, the European colonists were almost wiped out by native disease, just as the Martians were wiped out by a native disease. Oh, and also one thing I have to point out.
Let me point out the thrash real quick.
Go ahead.
I study a lot of history, and usually that goes the other way. It's not usually the colonists getting took out by their disease. It's usually the poor natives getting took out by nasty people's diseases that we brought in.
Well, that happens too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's another thing. Only they don't have their version of quinine. We have medicines which we withheld from the indigenous, which makes it even more horrific if you think of it that way. But before I get into a social commentary, I was watching RNG last night, and she was having a watch along for Empire Strikes Back, and one of her guests, whose name eluded me for the moment, but he pointed out the opening battle sequence between the Empire and the rebels on Hoth is a tip of the hat to War of the Worlds. That first engagement with General Mann, who I love his name, by the way, General Mann.
General Mann.
Are you being ironic? Played by legendary Les Tremayne. But where the humans try to no avail and the Martians just sort of overrun them, that is like almost a scene-for-scene homage in Empire Strikes Back to that scene. And when you watch it, you're like, oh my God, it is.
I had never thought that, but yeah.
I
you're
didn't
right.
either until I saw him do it last night. And I go, oh my God.
That's pretty
Sounds kind of
impressive.
cool. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even some of the dialogue where the humans are saying, we have to retreat, pull back, it's yeah.
That
Cool.
sounds awesome.
Never caught that.
But you can't take down one of those machines with like string around the bottom.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
No.
work.
I like the original version the best, where Orson Welles scared the hell out of people.
Yes.
Seriously, though, it's like it left it to your imagination, and that's even worse than what you see on the screen.
That's true.
No, I of all the War of the Worlds adaptations, I do think that the Orson Welles radio broadcast is the one that's truly terrifying.
Mhm.
It was great though. Very good.
The
Oh,
Steven
yeah.
Spielberg one had some great visuals, but it was ruined just by the screaming of Ella Fanning or Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning. Oh my god!
And you've
Oh my
got
God.
Tom Cruise trying to do a Brooklyn
Well, I
accent.
was
Oh,
going to have to
God.
bring
What
that
is
up,
that?
but Tom Cruise is your problem. Just don't Tom Cruise, you'll be okay.
Okay, let me ask Thrash real quick, or Tug. They'll know the answer to this. There's an old TV show like The Twilight Zone or something,
Invaders.
where these two aliens are on Earth and they're like remotely from Mars and they're here undercover. And when the Orson Welles broadcast goes out, they hear it and they think it's real and they start killing people. What
That
old
sounds
show
great.
is that?
I don't know, but that sounds wonderful. I love the concept.
Was that
It's
one
an old
step
black and
beyond?
white show like Night Gallery episode or a Twilight Zone episode or
I
Jan,
something.
don't think it's Twilight Zone because I've
Jan,
seen
would
every
be-
Has
Twilight
anybody
Zone.
ever seen
I've
it?
seen Advertised on too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
would that be one step beyond?
Maybe
One
one
Step
step
Beyond's
beyond,
possible.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
because-
step beyond. They almost unilaterally that they took urban legends and things that
Oh.
actually supposedly actually
Anyway,
happened.
there's
They were
this old
paranormal.
show, and there's these two Martians,
No, thank you.
and they're in an apartment, but they're spying on Earth, working real jobs, just being Earthlings, and they're going to a party, and then that broadcast comes out, and they think, oh, well, the Vanguard's here. They didn't tell us, and they go to the communicator, and the communicator's not working. But they're thinking, oh, well, this invasion's starting. We got to start to go around and start killing the people and killing the people at the party and killing the cops.
I'm gonna research this.
I'm
It's
just
just-
waiting for Indy to give us the answer, honestly.
I've been watching the chat too. I'm like,
Come on, Indy. Come on.
Yeah, get those wheels turning.
Oh, while we're waiting for Indy to bail us out, do I have time for one more?
Okay, we can do one more. I mean, you're the
Okay,
one who
thank you.
usually has to go first. So
I'm gonna do. I know. I'm gonna do Reform School Girls from 1986. This movie is so much fun. Now, again, I'm gonna now have a reputation of being a dirty old man. I
Oh,
was a
God.
teenager when it came out, so but I am a dirty old man.
Hurting teenager.
It was
Perfect.
one of those amazing 80s exploitation films that were like so much fun
Mhm.
back in the day. But it's not just a sort of raunchy prison knockoff film. No, this movie is amazing. It has Sybil Danning as the warden. It has Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics as this sort of insane prisoner gang leader. I'm frozen, sorry guys. It has Pat Ast as a sort of large Marge slat, just sort of
large Marge.
but yeah, sort of
Mm.
badass prison tough employee. And it's of course it's brought to us by it's written and directed by Tom DeSimone, who was sort of the unsung hero of exploitation film. And I gotta tell you, if you haven't seen Reform School Girls, you've got to. It makes a great double feature with Bad Girls Dormitory. And I'm now going to wait for the League of Decency to knock at my door.
Bad Girls Dormitory.
Bad Girls Dormitory.
I'm gonna
Yes,
have
that's
to
a thing.
check that out, too. Let me write that
I've
down.
heard of the movie, but I can't say I've ever seen it. So
Bad Girls have a dormitory. Google that one
And
later.
that is that.
okay. Well, on
Well,
that note,
on
I
that
think we
note-
should wrap it up.
on that note, I just said he was going to say it.
It's
Sorry.
been over an hour and a half. So
Yes.
like I said earlier, I've got a re-upload of my Wolfman review that is copyright free. So that's gonna go up
Awesome.
at 2:00. And then on Thursday I will be on Sarah's stream where I will say naughty
Right.
things. And
Right?
then on Saturday I will be on BBB's stream where I will be my wholesome self again.
That's terrible for you. I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, I got range and everything, but that's acceptable. But yeah, I'm so sorry. It's like I have all these wholesome shows, and then one day I get to go see words.
And yeah, I mean, I used to have podcasts where I would say words, but all my podcast hosts are dropping off of me. I don't know what's wrong. I'm scaring them off, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably because you're too geeky. I don't know.
No, Lynn's he's just lazy.
It's
How
the
many times?
geeky delivery service.
I was gonna say, how many times do you show up without your skin? I mean, that could be a factor.
That might scare them off. Yeah, true.
Yeah, see, they're not even as sensible as us. We're like, oh, you don't have skin on? Okay.
Okay, Indy wasn't paying attention, Danny, so he's gonna have to do a rewatch. And yeah, I'll be back next week, and we will talk more about good bad movies. It'll probably be a different panel.
Mhm.
Me and Thrash are pretty much the only regulars. So
Yeah.
I thank you.
yeah. Well, I mean, you were my first, and
Whoa.
I just feel
Ooh.
like you
Uh-oh.
belong on my channel.
Ah.
Thank you.
Well,
So anyway, anybody else have anything else to plug, Sarah?
Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays. There you go. I believe Chance does things on Fridays. Flumin does things on Wednesdays. Dan does things every day on every other thing he does on his channels. And there you go. Yeah. So there you go. We got Pon's got lots of stuff. He's live tonight. Tracy, she's doing her stuff, plus joining us too. So yeah, everybody check out
Thank
everybody,
you.
because otherwise, if you don't, you won't know what's happening.
Yeah, I appreciate
That's crazy.
that.
Yeah,
Right
stay
now,
hydrated, Sarah. I know
well,
you're
I, oh,
I-
not 100%.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
feel
feverish
better.
right now. This
I
is
don't mean to
awesome.
talk over you.
Sorry,
No.
Tracy.
No, I didn't mean to talk over you, Stu. No.
I'm
What
about to make me some hot chocolate and have a honey bun.
Oh, that's
Okay.
I got so many things to
Shut
say.
Sounds like diabetes.
Yeah.
honey.
No, I went to the doctor and he said my sugar's good, so I can eat something
Oh,
sweet
cool.
today.
Excellent.
Well,
Good for you.
I
Cool.
think I'm doing one on radio shows.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
Oh, nice.
Some radio
Cool.
shows. Mhm.
Speaking of the H.G. Wells radio broadcast,
Actually,
love
I
that.
have on my channel the original Where the World's on there. It's just I had to private it because every time I put up all these things, even if there's no copyright to them or whatever, I end up getting hit, and I'm like, okay, I'm just tired of getting hit from everything, so I just took everything down. But I do have it, so I do listen to it every now and then.
I should look that up. That is a really good one.
Hey, Tug, let me ask you real quick. Did you see my review of this comic book this week, The Time Machine?
I got a notification about it, but I haven't actually watched it yet.
Well, it was the second attempt, because the first attempt I put up, I showed a trailer for this movie, and they give me a copyright claim and took my video down.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
Trailers are supposed to be.
I was in it was a great review. It was 17 minutes of my life I couldn't get back
Yeah.
Oh,
because I done deleted it, and they took it down and it went away. So I said I got to remake the video, but I can't put up a trailer. So I just pulled up one of your videos and let you talk about it for a little while. And it's called The Time
Problem solved.
Machine, Unapologetic Review. And just so you know, it starts out with you talking about the movie.
Very cool. Very cool. No, I can
Alright.
copyright strike you. No, that's awesome. Thank you, Dan.
And guys, I hope to see you all tonight on my live stream at 7:30.
definitely.
Okay.
I do my
Yep.
best to be
See you
there,
tonight.
sir.
See you. Night,
What's
everyone.
the topic, Thresh?
Well, the trivia is going to be on SNL trivia because I had some going on, but then got sidetracked because we did something else the following week. But there's no real theme. But I'm probably going to be talking about SNL.
Okay,
And of
that's
course,
cool.
I'll be talking about 80s movies because a lot of people want a preview for tomorrow. So
Oh, yeah.
you know what? We'll talk about 80s SNL.
He'll be talking about it, but you won't be seeing him because he'll probably be frozen up about 30 minutes in.
He doesn't freeze on his own channel. So.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
he does.
Oh,
He's just use StreamYard, but yeah, he does. He freezes everywhere. Pons, we love you. You're the freezing man. I got all those screenshots.
Exactly.
So you'll see him around all week. Okay.
Feelings both mutual. See you guys. Take care.
See
you tonight.
I messed with him. But
Nah,
I'm
he's
just
always got
saying,
to run at the end of my show. It's like he's got a hard time limit. So anyway, this has been Tug Chat. I will catch you next week. Goodbye.
Hey.
happy
I can
Thank you and good night.